Well, good afternoon. Welcome to a beautiful Friday afternoon $40,200 Desert Classic. This afternoon, a field of 15, and that will be joining us here inside. And here outside, just a correction, you can see that beautiful shot of the beautiful Coachella Valley in California. I'm Davin Malmquist, your commentator. This afternoon, 15 horse and rider combinations. They will be tackling this course set by Alan Wade from Tipperary, Ireland. And a total of 15 jumping efforts. Length on course in that first round, 460 meters. And that is just a little bit less than half a kilometer in this beautiful Grand Prix Stadium. Fences numbered 1 through 12. 3 combinations on course as he is using 3 doubles. So we look at that starting order. Justin Prather from Canada starting us off. Delaney Flynn, that young rider for the USA. Eric Neve, the legend from France, in 3rd spot. 4th, the master of faster, Richard Spooner for the USA. Harley Brown for Australia. Going 5th, 6th, Joey Gatlin for the USA. Elizabeth Gingras from Canada, 7th. 8th, Carl Cook. Chandler Meadows, young rider, amateur rider from the USA, from Newport Beach, going 9th. 10th is Egypt's Nayal Nassar, and lots fairly new mount for him. Tiffany Sullivan, the Gladiator, 11th. Carrie-Ann Boyce Lockhart from Eugene, Oregon, in 12th. John Pierce from Canada, 13th. 14th, Elizabeth Gingras, her second ride. And the 15th and final to go, the rider from Victoria, BC, and that is Ali Ramsey aboard her 10-year-old Bay Gelding Casino. And Ali Ramsey qualified 2 for the jump-off yesterday. Alan Wade, once again, FEI Level 4 course designer from Tipperary, Ireland. And the time allowed on course, 74 seconds, 12 numbered fences, and a total of 15 jumping efforts. And the combinations happening at fence number 7A and 7B. Oxer vertical 2-stride combination, 9A and 9B, vertical Oxer combination, and 11A and 11B. 32 degrees or 88 degrees Fahrenheit. And the weather conditions are absolutely perfect. Not a cloud in the sky. A nice little breeze going on. Just keeps everything just a little bit cooler here in beautiful Southern California. So $40,200 Desert Classic. And this is the Friday edition of the 2018 HITS Coachella Desert Circuit. And week number 4. Tomorrow afternoon, $100,000 Longines FEI World Cup qualifier, and that is what these riders also are focusing on as the race, both for the North American Western Sub-League and also the Eastern Sub-League, so very tight. We've had riders fly their horses all the way from the east to the west to try to gain those valuable points to qualify for this spring and the World Cup finals that will be held over in Europe. So that the race is very tight right now. However, ahead of us, $40,200 Desert Classic, 50 represented, of course, Canada, France, Australia, Egypt, and the host nation of the USA. We're going to see exactly who comes out on top this afternoon. Yesterday, and that was the $35,000 Desert Welcome Stake. That was the USA coming out on top with BZ Madden and Breitling Lassia as they took top honors and first place. Time allowed, 74 seconds, as mentioned and shown on the screen, 460 meters. That's the length on course. These riders, these horses, they will have to be going at 74 seconds. This is a competition with a jump-off. So in the event we do have an equality of faults tied after that first round, we're going to bring it back for the jump-off. And that'll be a shortened course. Time allowed there, 45 seconds. But we're going to get to that jump-off round in just a little bit as 15 horse and rider combinations, and they're going to be joining us in this first round. So 5 nations represented this afternoon. Canada will lead us off with Justin Prather and Amy. Canada, in fact, having the bookends of riders as the 15th and the last to go. Ali Ramsey from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. She'll be the last to go aboard her 10-year-old gelding Casino. And we're going to see exactly how this goes. Once again, 3 combinations. Alan Wade, one of the top course designers on the planet. Another brilliant job as we see that static shot of the Grand Prix Stadium as we honor the host nation with the playing of the American National Anthem. Certainly a great way to start the $40,200 Desert Classic. And also joining us, we do have veterans from El Centro Naval and Air Field from just down the road. 15 horse and rider combinations. Canada starts us off. Justin Prather aboard the 10-year-old bay mare. And this is Amy, a Holsteiner. This horse owned by Braden Equestrian of Calgary, Alberta. Again, time allowed 74 seconds, 15 jumping efforts, numbered 1 through 12 with 3 combinations, 3 doubles out there. And the sound of the tone, and Justin Prather, he's the first to see all these questions asked by Alan Wade as he comes down to the first fence, and that is our Purina signature fence right in front of the Go Rentals VIP Pavilion. Nice opening fence, not squared, a little bit rampy. That means the horse can see the back rail as well. And nicely over fence number 1. He makes his left-hand turn onto fence number 2. The orange vertical at fence number 2. Steadies up for fence number 3. And nicely done over fence number 3. Right-hand turn and coming in front of the stands. The Berninger Ingelheim signature fence down to the black and white oxer at fence number 5. And we start coming across that diagonal, fence number 6, to the first of the combinations. There's the AIG fence. Easily done for Justin Prather and Amy. Oxer in 2 strides. There's vertical. And so far, so good. This first rider from Canada. Height of the fence is up to 1.45 meters. Little spook there. At fence number 8, just on the top end of the Grand Prix Stadium. Left-hand turn. We're going to come back to 9A and 9B vertical oxer combination. There's the 1 stride out over the oxer. Nicely done. And the Kindred Bio at fence number 10. 3 fences remaining. 1 combination, 11A and 11B. House's horse over the B element. And nice check right there. And the time, let's have a look at that, 74.65 seconds. Well, you know what? That time, wow. So 1 time fault for the first rider, Justin Prather and Amy. Possibly that little spook coming to fence number 8 at the top of the ring cost him just a little bit of time, but Justin certainly happy with that, with just the 1 time fault, that 10-year-old bay mare. Second rider, a young rider from the USA. But she is a phenomenal rider at that. Delaney Flynn. And this horse owned by Grace Jacobson is Milan 4, a 13-year-old gelding. And this is a Holsteiner, a horse sired by Lacino. Well, a young rider here. Delaney Flynn, super seasoned at this level. Always seems to take everything in stride. Does a great job on her mounts. We've heard that sound of the tone, and she's going to come down to that first fence as well. So Justin Prather, Amy making it look so easy. However, they couldn't keep it within that time allowed of 74 seconds. So fence number 1, that's behind her. Only 14 more jumping efforts. Oh, fence number 2, unfortunately, coming down. It's an airy vertical at fence number 2. Explodes over fence number 3. There's the right-hand turn, and right in front of all these stands. So fence number 4 on to fence number 5. So just the 1 rail so far. And she seems like she's carrying a nice pace. Again, time allowed 74 seconds. With the AIG down to the first of those 3 combinations. She sits back. There's the 2 stride. Nicely done. Now this is where Justin's horse spooked just a little bit. Milan 4 not even looking at anything except, unfortunately, having fence number 8 down. We do have the barrels right beside that fence. So something for these horses possibly visually to look at. Distracts them a little bit. There's the second of the combinations. Kindred Bio, fence number 10. So 8 jumping faults. Time looks like, well, she could be a little bit tight. There's the combination, 11A and 11B as she comes home. Let's have a look. 72.88 seconds, so a good running time for Delaney Flynn and Milan for 8 jumping faults. However, 2 fences down in the second place. Well, she doesn't look like she's 100% happy with that effort. And there's a couple places where she'd like to take back. Obviously, fence number 2 and fence number 8. Well, Basimoto, that's our next horse, a 12-year-old gelding. This horse owned by Signe Ostaby of Woodside. Now, this rider calls home Rancho Santa Fe. He rides internationally for France. The legend Eric Navet. And Eric Navet, world champion, European champion, Olympic medalist. There is his salute. And Basimoto, a Royal Dutch Warm Blood, horse signed by Quasimodo Z. And Eric Neve, always such a pleasure to watch, both schooling his horses in the warm-up rings and also in the show arenas. Always gives them such a good feel. And the exact same thing at fence number 1. Such a beautiful feel. His horses always just melt into his hands. They're always looking for that next fence. Beautiful jump over fence number 3. He's going to make that left-hand turn. Okay, 4's behind him. Easily down to fence number 5. So we come across the diagonal here. AIG up next. And then that 7AB combination, the 2-stride. Oxer. Vertical. Okay, so Milan 4 had fence number 8 down. Justin's horse also had a little look. Doesn't look like Basimoto is even worried about anything at fence number 8. So clear to this point. France. Well, if Eric Neve goes clear, France is going to move into first place. Oh, down on the A. So fence number 9A, the middle of the 3 combinations. That vertical coming down for that horse rider combination, Eric Neve and Basimoto. Just 1 fence remaining. 4 jumping faults coming home. And we're going to see time could be a factor here. 74.84 seconds. So time is a factor for jumping 1 time. That 1 fence down and the 1 time fault under International Equestrian Federation rules. Time faults adding up, and the amount of 1 time fault per 4 seconds or part thereof over that time allowed.
Time allowed here up to 76.
So Justin Prather and Amy in first place. Delaney Flynn in third as Eric Neve slips into second with the 5 faults in total for jumping 1 time.
And that'll mean that our first entry
Our 4th of the 15 in the Desert Classic this afternoon. Well, another legend in the sport of show jumping. And he rides the horse owned by CNS Logistics. This horse, Arthos R, a 13-year-old stallion, Richard Spooner for the USA. And Richard Spooner is his nickname, the Master of Faster. And he's aboard the 13-year-old stallion. This is a Royal Dutch Warm Blood.
Incorporated, your rider, Richard Spooner.
So the United States of America, USA, Richard Spooner, Arthos R, second American rider. The first one, Delaney Flynn, had 8 faults. So a chance to put the USA on top of the podium if he goes clear aboard this great 13-year-old stallion. This is a superb horse owned by CNS Logistics. So over fence number 1. Easily covering the spread on that Oxford fence number 3. Now with Richard knowing so far, as he's obviously had some of his ground people and been able to hear that the time was tight for Justin, the time was tight for Eric Neve as well, that he's not wasting any time in these corners. So 7A, 7B. Okay, so we're having a little spook there. Have to ride him just a little bit harder than I think he wanted to at fence number 8. It still stays up. The horse is backing off with those barrels just on the outside of fence number 8. So 9A, 9B, nicely done. So this is where he's going to pick up pace. And you see, he just moved his horse along just a little bit faster. Okay, there's 11A, 11B touches it. It's not a problem. Oh, yeah, what a ride. Richard Spooner and Arthos R. And that time it was good. So we have that first clear, 72.87 seconds. He saw, in fact, Richard Spooner. He knew the corners. That's where he had to be the most efficient on this 13-year-old stallion. The horse gave him a pretty big spook on that coming to fence number 8. But Richard just got in there, rode the horse absolutely picture perfectly. What a great ride. And that first clear for the USA. Well, looks like this rider moving up in the order just a little bit. The rider from Calgary, Alberta, Elizabeth Gingras. And she's aboard the 11-yearld gelding Captain. So the USA right now on top of that leaderboard with that clear round just put in by the master of faster, Richard Spooner and Arthos R. Justin Prather in second aboard Amy with a one-time fault. This rider could go clear. She has two chances. Elizabeth Gingras, and she's aboard Captain. So over fence number 1, and Captain 11-year-old gelding, Royal Dutch Warmblood. Little fight on the way to fence number 2. Got her horse back. And fence number 3. This horse has a big, big stride. So she has to remember to manage that stride with some of those smaller combinations that will be coming up at fence number 9A and 9B and 11A and 11B. Especially that 1, 11A and 11B, as she'll be coming directly towards that in-gate. He's over fence number 6, 7A, B. Here's the 2-stride. Sits up nicely. This is where some of the horses have been spooking just a little bit. We're getting the same little look, but then perfectly ridden at fence number 8 for Elizabeth Gingras and Captain. Gets her horse back, knowing that she's coming into just a 1-stride combination. This horse has a huge stride. Beautifully ridden. And the Kindred Bio at fence number 10, 11A and 11B. Another 1-stride combination. There's the Oxer, easily done. Okay, now time could be a factor, as it looks like time is catching up with her just a little bit. Rocks it. Oh, and just over our time allowed. So she's going to pick up 1 time fault. And I do believe second fastest of the... It looks like, in fact, they have changed that time allowed.
Continuing here in our class this afternoon, representing the host nation, let's welcome in entry number 5 as our next.
Well, so they have that indicated as Elizabeth Gingras and Captain are clear.
Gatlin.
We're trying to go down to the field to see exactly what they have adjusted that time allowed to. Joey Gatlin from San Juan Capistrano riding for Jasmine Weber Talley. And here is Rammstein, the 10-year-old gelding for the USA.
LLC of Orange, California.
And Joey had a very good showing yesterday on this horse in the $35,000 Desert Welcome Stake. So time allowed, you see that, it has been adjusted to 76 seconds. So that means that will be a clear round for Justin Prather, clear round for Richard Spooner, and a clear round for Elizabeth Gingras. Also will change the faults for Eric Neve, just the 4 faults. And Joey Gatlin looking to come in under that time allowed of 76 seconds. So just 2 seconds bumped on that time allowed. As there's a lot of extra fences here in the Grand Prix Stadium. So lots of fences that, in fact, possibly could force the riders to have to take just a slightly different track than they would have planned. So Joey Gatlin comes into the middle of the combinations. There's fence number 9A and 9B, vertical auction combination. The Kindred Bio, fence number 10. Beautiful job to this point. Just 3 jumping efforts remaining. Oh, has the A down. So just the 4 faults, and the time is 74.73 seconds.
4 faults will end up as the score then this afternoon with a time of 7.
And so that will put them into 4th place. Just that lone rail, 74.73 seconds. And fastest of the 4 falters as they move into 4th place on the leaderboard. 5th right now, Eric Neve and Basimoto, still the 3 clears. Justin Prather, Richard Spooner, and Elizabeth Gingras. So Canada and the United States represented in the jump-off. Here's the 11-year-old Grey Gelding. This is Caillou. Carl Cook for the USA, riding for Signe Osteby.
Carl Cook and Caillou.
And Carl Cook looking to go back to the World Cup finals this year, as he went last year, represented the United States. The end of January, Carl Cook and Eric Neve were in Guadalajara, Mexico for that World Cup qualifier. So nicely over fence number 1. This horse can jump. This is a great horse owned by Signe Osteby. Easily over fence number 3. Such an explosive animal. So Caillou and Carl Cook, and Carl always does such a great job with his mounts as well. Gives them such a nice ride, lets them jump up to him. AIG at fence number 6, first of the 3 combinations coming up. Oxer in, easily done. Sits up, gets the vertical, and we come around to fence number 8. This is, yep, just a little spook. And sometimes that means the distance you saw as you were coming in there becomes the one you don't want. You have to find another distance. So Carl Cook, beautiful ride as always. Such a seasoned rider. On fence number 10. So clear to this point, 76 seconds. That is our time allowed. Time certainly shouldn't be a factor here. As he jumps, he goes clear, and we have another in the jump-off, 74.22 seconds. 2 American riders, 2 Canadian riders. They're going to face off in the jump-off. So what a great ride, Carl Cook and Caillou.
Continuing our next entry on course, let's welcome in entry number 2.
I was mentioned on the fence, onto fence number 8, there are the barrels over there. And the barrels, because following this competition is the International Hunter Derby. So some of those fences have been preset. The sound of the tone, Chandler Meadows for the USA. This young rider from Newport Beach rides and owns Damien, a 10-year-old chestnut gelding. Now Chandler Meadows rides with Joey Gatlin and Damien, a Royal Dutch Warmblood. She had a really, really, really good showing yesterday. I'm going to say this young amateur rider just really stepping up into her own. So far, 5 jumping efforts behind Damien and Chandler Meadows. Chandler Meadows keeping a really nice pace on course. There's fence number 6. She's focusing on that combination. Gets Damien in perfectly. Jumps the A, jumps the B. Comes around a fence at number 8, just the top end of the ring. Oh, that is too bad. Fence at number 8 coming down. 4 jumping falls, Chandler Meadows and Damien. Well, 9A and 9B on a 10. 4 jumping faults as she makes that turn coming towards home. The in and out coming up. Oxer, vertical, nicely ridden. Sits up, gets her horse back. And what a great job. 4 jumping faults, 73.66 seconds. And 4 jumping faults in the 5th place.
73.66.
So you know what? She's the fastest of the 4 faulters, 73.66 seconds. Chandler Meadows, young amateur rider from Newport Beach aboard Damien. As she moves into 5th place. Would have loved to have seen that rider in the jump-off. Our next horse, owned by Evergate Stables of Palo Alto, California, Lutz. This rider rides internationally for Egypt, Nayel Nassar. In fact, he rides out of Encinitas, California. Lutz, a 9-year-old chestnut gelding, so a young horse here. And this horse, a Westphalian by breeding.
Here's 564. 564.
So Nayel Nassar and Lutz. As I mentioned, this is a young horse. There's lots of things for these horses, in fact, to look at in the Grand Prix Stadium right now.
Entry Lutz is a 9-year-old chestnut gelding.
And so you can see Nayel Nassar, in fact, he wanted to go past those barrel standards right beside fence at number 8 in order to get his horse used to that. So just that turn wasn't going to come up too quickly, and he was going to maybe have a little more of a look at it. Well, moving on to fence number 2. And Nayel putting in such a great schooling ride on Lutz yesterday in our $35,000 Desert Welcome Stake. Oh, and you look at that hind end on this horse. Such explosive power, super flexible through the hips. Just follows through with that jump just beautifully. Okay, so that first combination, that two stride, and we're coming around that corner. Horse is nicely focused on fence number 8. 4 jumping faults to this point in time. But this, once again, a young 9-year-old chestnut gelding. Super skill. And this horse is one to watch for in the future. The horse owned by Evergate Stables from Palo Alto. So NAL Nassar heading for home, 4 jumping faults. There's the oxer. Vertical. You got to say, what a great way to end up. 1 rail, 1 time fault as well for a total of 5 faults. But that was just a spectacular ride. Very calculated. And NAL Nassar, he's always wonderful with his horses. And I know he's happy with that mount, the 9-year-old gelding. Just a little bit spooky out there, and that's not a big deal. In fact, sometimes those horses that are a little bit spooky jump even better as they don't want to touch anything. So NAL Nassar from Egypt, and still the 4 clears, 2 Canadian riders, 2 American riders. Justin Prather, Richard Spooner, Elizabeth Gingras, Carl Cook. Let's add another from the USA on top of that. Tiffany Sullivan from Encino. This horse owned by Haley Farms, the 12-year-old gray stallion known as the Gladiator. Is a Belgian warm blood. As Tiffany Sullivan and the Gladiator heading down to fence number 1. So nicely over fence number 1. This is a fairly big stallion and very powerful. And as Tiffany she's a little bit more of a petite rider. So she's got to do a lot more homework at home as well, as she cannot manhandle a horse with this much power. She always puts in such a nice finesse ride. Oh, unfortunately down at fence number 5, just the back rail on that oxer. There's fence number 6, steadies her horse up. Nice ride as always. Beautiful hands. And she comes up to the top end of the ring. So the Gladiator having a little look there as well. Oh, and unfortunately, fence number 8 coming down. 8 jumping faults at this point for Tiffany Sullivan and the Gladiator. 9A and 9B on to fence number 10. And she's getting her horse back as she comes into this combination, knowing just it's only 1 stride. Touches the A, but it stayed up. So 8 jumping faults. And the time, 75.97. And just the 8 jumping faults that she gets in under that adjusted time allowed of 76 seconds. So 75.97 seconds, 8 jumping faults. Tiffany Sullivan and the Gladiator. I think she's going to be happy with that. Her horse jumped really well. Just a couple unfortunate rails.
Of course, be the first of 5 remaining here, the first round of competition here in our international jumping event.
Here's a rider from Eugene, Oregon, riding for the USA, Carrie-Ann Boyce Lockhart, aboard the 13-year-old gelding. Pharaoh DC is another Belgian warm blood. This horse sired by Darko. In fact, ridden and owned by Carrie-Ann Boyce Lockhart from Eugene, Oregon. You see Carrie-Ann Boyce Lockhart just letting her horse have a look at those barrel standards. At those 2 fences right beside fence number 8, just at the top end of the ring as she comes down to the first fence. And easily over fence at number 1. Another great horse here, Pharaoh DC. Easily over the second fence. We'd love to have 5 in the jump off. Okay, so fences 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 behind Carrie-Ann Boyce Lockhart and Pharaoh DC. Here's the AIG. Nice vertical, rubs it a little bit, but it stayed up. 7A, 7B. And not a problem at fence number 8. Okay, the second of the combinations. This one stride, vertical in. Oh, unfortunately, the B element coming down. Just didn't look like she got him back quite in time to get that front end out of the way at fence number 9B. Okay, so there is 11A and 11B. And the final fence, just that one fence on course. Oh, and one time fault, 76.50 seconds. And the total will be 5 for Carrie Ann Boyce Lockhart from the USA and Faro, DC. Well, still the 4 clears. Justin Prather, Richard Spooner, Elizabeth Gingras, and Carl Cook. This is going to be an exciting, super fast $40,200 Desert Classic jump off. I do believe 3 remaining riding for Canada. This rider originally from Ontario, Canada, now lives in Bermuda Dunes, California, so just down the road, John Pierce. And he rides the horse owned by Nicolette Hertz, Firestone S, a 13-year-old gelding, and a Belgian warm blood. And this is a fairly new pairing, as they just came together just in 2018, so just this year. And I think this pair is going to have a great future ahead of them, as John Pierce always does such a phenomenal job. So there is the third fence. So Firestone S and John Pierce on fence number 4. John just moving his horse up just a little bit, making sure all the strides gets him to exactly where he wants at fence number 5. On fence number 6, 7AB ahead. Oxer 2 stride. There's the vertical. Coming up to the top end of the Grand Prix Stadium. Oh, at fence number 8, unfortunately, front rail on the Oxer. It comes down, so JP and Firestone S sitting with 4 faults. They turn towards that second combination. Fence number 10. Horse landed a little bit and scooted to the left a little bit there. Could cost JP some time, but I think he banked enough time earlier on. Touches the A element, easily over the B element, and 1 fence remaining. In time, it is good, 74.73 seconds. And I know he wanted to be clear, but just that rub at fence number 8, the front rail at the Oxer, 4 jumping fault, 74.73 seconds for John Pierce and Firestone S.
Continuing, here's the first of 3 remaining now for the first round of competition this afternoon. Our next entry on course, let's welcome in entry number 130.
Well, 74.73, and I do believe that's a tie with Joey Gatlin and Rammstein.
Next on course is
so John Pierce. Does that look? He wasn't happy with that ride, in fact, because he wanted to have that one rail up. Harley Brown for Australia, riding My Lord Coronet. This is an 8-year-old gelding, a young horse in Oldenburg. And this horse owned by Catherine Ann Brewer of Menlo Park. And a super seasoned professional rider here, Harley Brown. And rides out of Northern California. Ooh, oh, that is too bad. Fence number 4. Kind of looked like they had just a little disagreement right by that in gate. And that's always one of the tough things, because obviously the horses have their thoughts, the riders have their thoughts, and sometimes if they don't match 100%, you have a little disagreement. So 4 jumping faults, Harley Brown and My Lord Coronet. Just having a look. There we go at fence number 8. You can see that horse had just a little bit of a look as it was cross-cantering on the way down to fence number 8. Left-hand turn. And there's 9A, 9B. He steadies his horse up, ready for this vertical. Gets the front end out perfectly, nicely done at fence at number 10. 11A and 11B up next. Oh, knocks the A element down. And the time also a factor, 81 seconds and change. So that means they're going to be having time faults added as well, 81.72. So 8 jumping faults, 2 time faults for a total of 10.
Continuing next to compete this afternoon, here's our first of two remaining now.
And I'm fairly sure Harley Brown is going to go back to the drawing board, try to figure out exactly where that disconnect happened on the way to fence number 4. I would say it's just the in-gate, and it's not that big a deal because it was still that horse, that rider, brilliant together. Well, Elizabeth Gingras back in the ring. She already has one in the jump-off. This horse owned by Erickson Helena Group Syndicate. Avalon, a 12-year-old. This 12-year-old gelding, Westphalian by breeding. And Elizabeth Gingras now calling home Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And a super seasoned rider right here. Now she was shortlisted to go to Rio, represent Canada at the Rio Olympics. Well, over fence number 5, coming on to fence number 6, vertical, straight down to the Oxer vertical combination. There's the Oxer 2-stride, the vertical, nicely done. As we come around, gives her horse a little bit wider berth. Oh, and unfortunately, fence number 8. Just that front rail on the Oxer. He's coming down a number of times. So 9A and 9B. And fence number 10 up next. Okay, so just 3 jumping efforts remaining. That combination and the final fence. And 4 faults as she comes home. The time, I think time should be good for her. Yep, 75.20 seconds. Just that lone rail at fence number 8 at the top end of the Grand Prix Stadium puts her in a 9th place, Elizabeth Gingras and Avalon. So Lizzie, she's going to have to get off this horse, get back on her first horse, as she will be coming back for the jump off aboard Captain. And one remaining in the $40,200 Desert Classic. The last rider to go rides out of Victoria, BC for Canada, Ali Ramsey aboard Casino. Casino, a 10-year-old gelding, an Oldenburg by breeding. And a great young rider for Canada as well, Ali Ramsey. Super, super talented. So fence number 1, we're going to go on a fence number 2. Love to have Ali Ramsey in the jump-off and make it a full handful for that jump-off. We're going to see how this goes. This horse, Casino, 10 years of age, lots and lots of power. Great ride from fence number 4 to fence number 5. Okay, here's the first combination. Ali's hands look beautiful up there on the horse, just letting him go, do his job. A little bit longer at fence number 8. It pays off, however. That was the spot that she saw and the spot that she went for. So 9A and 9B, vertical Oxer. On the fence number 10, crystal clear to this point, Ali Ramsey and Casino. Oh, rub it at the A. It stays up. The B is good. Time is good as well. Will she get in there? Oh, rubs the last one. Clear round, 74.33 seconds. And Ali Ramsey, well, she makes it 5 for the jump off. 3 Canadian riders, 2 American riders. And so Ali Ramsey, I think she's got to be happy with that ride. That was just a beautiful ride. She is happy with her 10-year-old gelding. That horse has a lot of power. Super talented duo right there for Canada. Well, so 5 to come back for the jump-off. And our jump crew is going to get right down to business. And those 5, Justin Prather. This is how they'll come back. Justin Prather, Amy, Richard Spooner, Arthur Sar, Elizabeth Gingras, Carl Cook, and Ali Ramsey. Chandler Meadows taking home 6th place. 2-way tie for 7th, exactly the same faults and time. And that's John Pierce and Joey Gatlin. Eric Neve in 9th, 10th, Elizabeth Gingras, 11th, Niall Lasar, Kieran Boyce Lockhart in 12th. Those are the top 12 placings from the Desert Classic this afternoon here in beautiful Coachella Valley, California. As if you're looking for where the sun is, it is right here. A beautiful day. 31 degrees Celsius, 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Exactly the same as yesterday. A beautiful breeze just going across the Grand Prix Stadium. We see Alan Wade is having a walkover. He's going to make sure this course is set absolutely perfect for the jump-off. Time on the jump-off, 45 seconds. We're going to take just a momentary break here. Be back with that jump-off round in just a little bit. So stay with us online as 5 coming back for the jump-off. Will it be Canada or the United States here on a beautiful Friday in Coachella Valley?
Welcome to the Longines FEI World Cup Jumping North American League, where the continent's premier equestrian athletes face off in a 3-nation series that takes them to North America's ultimate equestrian destination. And it all leads up to the biggest event of the year, where one rider will emerge as champion at the Longines FEI World Cup Jumping Final, April 2018 in Paris.
And 5 coming back for the jump-off, $40,200 Desert Classic. And this is the jump-off order. Canada leads the way with Justin Prather and Amy. USA, the Master Faster, Richard Spooner, Arthros R. Elizabeth Zingrass, her first mount captain, will be third. Carl Cook, Kayo, they'll be fourth for the USA. And Ali Ramsey, Casino, she will have that final and enviable position as she will at least have been able to see some of them go. Alan Wade, FEI level 4 course runner from Ireland. Time allowed 45 seconds in the jump off. Well, seven jumping efforts. In fact, just correction, 8 jumping efforts, as we do have one combination in play. 32 degrees Celsius, right on 88, 89 degrees Fahrenheit, right here in beautiful Coachella Valley, California. The weather is perfect for show jumping this afternoon. And only one new fence on course, and that'll be fence number 14. And the FEI World Cup Finals this year, April 10th to the 15th, held in Paris, France. And these riders, they are looking to qualify to represent their nations over in Paris, France this April. And you can hashtag FEI World Cup, the Longines FEI World Cup jumping. This is going to be a great event tomorrow as well. Great jump off, www.fei.org. And that is one of the sites you certainly want to bookmark on your computers and in your smartphones as well. So 45 seconds, that is the time allowed. 280 meters, that's the length on course, a shortened course. And they will be going from fence number 14, brand new fence. And that's the fence right beside that last of the combinations, 11A and 11B. They're going to start with the Oxer. Right-hand turn onto fence number 7B. 8, that's on the top end of the ring. 9A and 9B. The vertical Oxer one stride. Straight down to 10. 11A, the B element having been removed. And 12 is the final fence in the jump-off. And as we have a look at the in-gate, you can see Richard Spooner right there. And he will be the second back for the jump-off. He's giving hand signals and just going over what the jump-off course is. Justin Prather, we can see him on his horse. So his warm-up completed, as Justin Prather will be making his way right here into the Grand Prix Stadium, the first of the 5 to come back for the jump-off. We're going to see exactly how this goes, as I think it's going to be a super, super fast jump-off. Again, time allowed 45 seconds, only 5 making it. 3 Canadian riders, 2 riders from the host nation of the USA in our $40,200 Desert Classic. Tomorrow afternoon, the $100,000 Longines FEI World Cup qualifier. Now, we have riders from the East Coast and the West Coast, as both the North American Sub-West and Sub-East leagues, they are so tight right now. It is unbelievable. In 2018, we have races that are this close, and it's going to come down to these last couple qualifiers. This one being the last on the Western Sub-League for the North American League. And Justin Prather is our first entry, Amy. And this is his 10-year-old mare, this rider for Canada. And the first to go.
Justin Prather and his mount, Amy.
So Justin Prather just going past fence number 8, in fact, to the top end of the arena. We hear the sound of the tone. So Justin Prather, he wants to go clear and fast, obviously. Put a little pressure on the remaining 4. And here we go, off the right lead. Down to the first fence. Brand new fence, fence number 14. Ease over that first fence. Makes the right-hand turn, fence number 7B. There's the vertical. Maybe got a little bit tighter than he wanted to that vertical, but the mare leaves it out. There's fence number 8. Left-hand turn, vertical Oxer combination, that one stride. He's got to steady his horse up. There's the vertical. There's the Oxer. Fence number 10. Here's the gallop just a little bit, as he knows he's coming down to fence number 11A. The Oxer in, and there's a vertical left. He's got to make sure his horse stays up, doesn't get flat. Nicely done, 40.15 seconds. So 40.15 and a clear round. So Justin Prather and Amy, they are in first place. Obviously the first in the ring, but that could be a very quick time. And we're going to see exactly how this goes. As 4 remaining in the jump-off, and they are a fast 4 as well.
Representing the host nation, let's welcome back Richard Spooner and Arthos.
But I think Justin Prather, he's got to be happy with that. You see that smile? He's super happy with that performance. Clear round, 40.15 seconds. That is our time to beat. The master of faster, Richard Spooner, aboard Arthos R for the USA, the host nation. So Richard Spooner Just checking some tack there. And Arthos are a 13-year-old stallion. And this is a fantastic horse owned by CNS Logistics. And 40.15 seconds, time to beat. Great ride to the first fence. Very efficient through that turn. Great ride to fence number 7B. As we come up to 8, horse had a little luck, but he's seen this before. Nice approach to fence number 8. Coming down to the combination, 40.15 seconds. Nice flowing ride all the way through. Vertical oxer. He's got the vertical left. Makes the turn for home. 2 fences remaining, 11A. He can let his horse open up a little bit at the oxer. He's going to have to get him back. There is that finish line. Master of Faster indeed. 37.72 seconds and a clear round. USA in first place in the Desert Classic. So the Master of Faster, he is faster than Justin Prather, who moves into second place. So Arthos R, a little spook there. Not a big deal. And Richard Spooner just giving his mount just a nice little treat there in the competition arena. So Richard Spooner's got to be happy with that run in the jump-off. And certainly he is. 37.72 seconds. That becomes our time to beat. And Elizabeth Gingras in the ring. Here's this Canadian rider aboard Captain. Third to qualify.
Next to compete, here's Captain and Elizabeth Gingras.
Okay, so Richard Spooner and Arthos R just moved into first place. They're on top of the podium, 37.72 seconds. That's our time to beat. There's the sound of the tone. So Elizabeth Gingras just getting right down to business aboard Captain. She knows she has to be efficient. Richard Spooner had such a smooth ride in that jump off, and that always pays off. Nicely over fence number 1. Not sure if she's quite as fast, but maybe a little tighter. Oh, and unfortunately 7B coming down, 4 jumping faults. So fence number 8, she's got the 4 faults. Looks like she's just slowing up just a little bit. Going to turn this into a little bit more of a schooling ride. So this horse has a massive stride. So it doesn't look like he moves quite as fast as the other horses, but that stride is deceptive. So fence number 11A. And there's the finish line for Elizabeth Gingras and Captain, 42.79 seconds. 4 jumping faults into third place for Canada. USA still in first in the Desert Classic, this FEI event this afternoon. With 2 riders remaining, 1 from the USA, 1 from Canada. And here's Caillou, the 11-year-old gray gelding owned by Signe Ostaby. And the rider from Rancho Santa Fe rides for the USA, Carl Cook. So Carl Cook, 37.72 seconds leading time in the Desert Classic with a clear round. And this another horse with a really nice large stride. Eats up the ground very, very easily. Nicely over fence number 1. Keeps going through the corner at fence, at that second fence, 7B. Keeps coming forward to the oxer. Okay, so the time. Looks like he's on a nice, efficient clip out there. Oh, nicely ridden. In and out. Going on fence number 10. And just 2 fences remaining. And time to beat, 37.72 seconds. Can he do it? There's the oxer. He's going to be close. He's going to be close. Oh, 39 seconds right on the nose into second place for Carl Cook and Caillou. So the United States in first and in second. Canada now in third and in fourth. But Canada has 1 more shot at taking home first place. And that will be our final rider. But Carl Cook, happy with his mount after that.
go.
I think he could have gone a little bit faster, and I think that's what he was thinking as he exited the ring. Ali Ramsey, the final to go aboard Casino. Great young Canadian rider. But right now, in her sights, the time set by Richard Spooner and Arthos R. So easily over fence number 1. Keeps the gallop going. Nice turn of fence number 7B. Second fence in the jump off. Those fence number 8. It's a little bit wider than I think she probably wanted to. Coming back to this. But it sets her horse up nicely through the vertical of the oxer. Fence number 10. And just 2 fences remaining. 37.72 seconds. Not sure if she's going fast enough to break that time. So let's have a look. And a 39.53. That is the time for Ali Ramsey. And Casino, that puts her into third place, third fastest of those double clears.
And Ali Ramsey.
And the winner of the Desert Classic, that is the USA Richard Spooner aboard Arthos R with that untouchable time, 37.72 seconds. And great competition right here in the beautiful Coachella Valley. See Richard Spooner, Arthos R with the win. Carl Cook Caillou in second. Ali Ramsey Casino in third. Justin Prather, Amy in fourth. Elizabeth Gingras in fifth. Chandler Meadows in sixth. Two-way tie for seventh. Joey Gatlin and John Pierce. Same time, same faults, 74, 73, and 4 faults in that first round. Ninth to the rider from France, Eric Navet. Elizabeth Gingras in 10th. 11th, Nael Nassar. And 12th, Carrie-Anne Boyce Lockhart. Great competition this afternoon. Our $40,200 Desert Classic. As we had fun under the sun this afternoon. And that wonderful course designed by Alan Wade. Once again, remember to join us tomorrow. $100,000 Longines FEI World Cup qualifier. And that will be going tomorrow afternoon. And the 7th of those 7 qualifiers, the last qualifier here on the West Coast, part of the North American League, the Western Sub-League. As that race is super tight. It's also super tight in the East. So this last one on the West, the last on the East, those last 2 qualifiers, they will determine the team that goes to France, to Paris, France, this April. Thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to see you tomorrow.